Welcome back, everyone. I'm absolutely thrilled to have all of you focused learners here with us today for this explainer. If you're tuning in, you probably already get that we're living through this massive, literal game changer of a digital shift. And a huge chunk of that is driven by the grand promise of blockchain technology. But today, we aren't just geeking out over the tech itself. We're looking at the gap, a really critical gap between what was promised and what we actually experience day to day. Okay. Let's dive into this and uncover exactly what's missing. Think back to when blockchain first hit the scene. The whole battle cry, the big pitch, was all about building a completely open system, right? A system with zero shadows. It promised absolute transparency, a total revolution in how we track data and value. And here's the really fascinating part. Technically speaking, it absolutely delivered. The engineering actually worked. The architecture for a completely open ledger was realized, and we got exactly the transparency we were asking for. Let's move to and see how this builds, because we need to look at what this technical success actually looks like out there in the wild. There are 3 undeniable, rock-solid facts about how an open ledger operates. Number 1, every single transaction is recorded. Number 2, every movement of digital assets is completely visible to literally anyone who wants to look. And number 3, every interaction is permanent. It is etched into digital stone. It's an incredible feat of record-keeping for sure, but, and this is a big but, having a perfect record doesn't automatically mean we have a perfect system. Section 1, the visibility problem. Seeing versus knowing. Because, guys, despite this flawless permanent record-keeping, there's a fundamental flaw we really have to address here. Somewhere along the line, we kind of confused seeing something with actually knowing what it is. So ask yourself, does visibility actually create understanding? Think about staring at a 42-character hexadecimal wallet address, or scrolling through a massive spreadsheet of raw on-chain data until your eyes literally start to blur. Yeah, it's visible. You can see every single character. But does just seeing a random string of letters and numbers mean you comprehend its intent? If you're just staring at raw data, do you actually understand the interaction that's taking place? And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world danger of that exact problem. When you're looking at a raw blockchain ledger, sure, you can inspect an address. You can pull up every single transfer that address has ever made since the dawn of time. But what you can't immediately know, just by looking at that raw, unfiltered data, is who is actually behind it. Is that transfer coming from a trusted, verified institution? Or is it a malicious actor trying to pull a fast one? To the naked eye, they both just look like a random, meaningless jumble of alphanumeric characters. The ledger is open. The meaning is still hidden. Take a second to really let the gravity of that statement sink in, because this right here, this is the massive gap we are currently dealing with in all our digital interactions. We built a world of absolute, undeniable technical visibility, but without context, the actual meaning of what we're looking at is still completely left in the dark. Section 2, the Codatta Resolution, human context. So it's time to introduce the hero of our narrative, because this massive gap in our digital understanding, it's finally being bridged by the team at Codatta. We honestly no longer have to settle for just staring at totally meaningless numbers. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how they define their mission. Codatta is entirely focused on adding human-verified context to on-chain activity. They're doing the heavy lifting of translating raw on-chain transparency into actual human context. And by doing this, the information doesn't just sit there being, merely visible. It becomes actively useful. It literally transforms raw data into actionable knowledge that we can actually understand, and more importantly, trust. So the crucial point is right here in this contrast. On one hand, we've got the old reality, transparency without interpretation. And let's be real, that only tells half the story. It gives you the what and the when, but it completely leaves out the who and the why. On the other hand, we have the new reality with Codatta, which gives us the full story. And this is the absolute key takeaway for your own digital safety and clarity. You need that interpretation. You need that human-verified context to know exactly who you're dealing with, turning what is essentially a chaotic sea of data into a clear, understandable landscape. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought today. If transparency is only half the story, what hidden meanings will human context finally reveal on the blockchain? Imagine a digital world where every interaction isn't just recorded, but deeply, truly understood. A place where safety and clarity aren't just these lofty technical ideals, but everyday realities for all of us. That is the true power of adding human context to the ledger. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking the right questions, and I'll catch you next time as we continue to decode the world around us.